terrapins. We all know that he loves a terrapin too, so he might be going in there and playing around, so it will be a good place to go and check, just to see every single one of these little wallows. And like Brent was saying, he wants to do a frog challenge this afternoon. Well, we can try do it. I've been into some of these wallows, and they are murky at best, and I'm not quite sure what's lurking inside there, but we'll try. Let's see how we go. And I also don't have any gloves with me that we can then touch the frogs. We don't want to disturb them too much, but let's see what we can do. Maybe we'll try and find some frogs and take up Brent's challenge and see what we can do. It'll mean getting very wet again, but I suppose we've been covered in sand and we've sunken into the depths of the Mulawati, so I suppose a few little pans and muddy water won't harm us. What do you think?
Yeah.
Good?
Might as well.
Might as well. Alright. Cool. Well, let's head back then. If we know the tracks are going to go this way, we're just going to try and see where the track was, because we didn't pick up anything further, but like Aubrey says, they're not very good, so let's rather carry on and see if we can pick up anything further afield. It does sometimes happen like this, but I would imagine with all the rain that we had, that these tracks must have been maybe sometime this morning actually, so hopefully these leopards are somewhere close by. Alright, let's get on to the serious tracking mission and see what we can do, and while we do that, let's go across to Taylor and see what she's up to.
We need Tristan to focus so he can find us a cat, but we have got a bird that seems to be relatively relaxed at the moment, and that is a go-away bird sitting in a buffalo thorn, and I presume at one point it was feasting on the berries, but this tree doesn't look like it actually has too many berries on it, to be honest. So I wonder if the birds have come through and already fed upon this one, but all fluffed up, relaxed, not calling, and it's actually looking down to the ground. Did you see that? Because it has got two crested francolin just passing beneath it. Isn't that nice? Even other birds watch each other. But Mr. and Mrs. Crested Francolin on a little boundary patrol at the moment. I'm sure just looking for something to eat, really. Passing by all the restaurants, seeing if there's anything new on the menu. But it's sad that there are no little chicks in hot pursuit of mom and dad, because I'm enjoying seeing all these little things at the moment, all the little baby birds. Hello guys, and I love the way that they sort of pop their tails out. You see that? They remind me very much of chickens. Just their whole movement, the way that they walk, constantly pecking on the ground, and then of course the short height that they can fly and the noise they make when they get a fright. You guys are the bush chickens, aren't you? But lovely. See them searching, looking in the grasses for any insects. They're predominantly feeding on insects, but they will pick up a couple of seeds every now and then. But with all the midges and the humidity at the moment, I think that they'll be quite satisfied with the flies. If they're lucky, they'll catch a grasshopper or two. But they are scouting for something delicious. Heron, you're wondering if we get the colourful go-away birds. No, not really. Oh, well, that was a bit cheeky. A little bit deposited its leftover dinner. Now, occasionally you could see the purple-crested, the Tarocco. So the go-away birds, that's why the name's changed from a lurie to a go-away bird, or grey lurie, is just, luries are, oh, hang on, you know what I've just spotted is there's a vehicle behind me. Let me pull off the road, just so they can come past, and I should tell you. So luries are typically dull in colour, and that's exactly what a grey go-away bird is, whereas the Knysna lurie, the purple-crested lurie, they were too colourful. They've got purples and bright greens and reds and all sorts of wonderful colours covering all those feathers covering their bodies. So that's why they got the name Tarocco, from the turricidin, the colouring that they have in their feathers. And we occasionally, if you're very lucky, there's not really any river systems, and they like sort of moisture and dense vegetation, as the purple-crested Taroccos. I shall locate a picture for you. Let's go onto the mobile phone to the app. Let's go. And they're beautiful. My favourite one has to be, let's go Tarocco, go down a bit, has to be the Knysna Tarocco. There they are. You can see the grey go-away bird is there too. So here's a whole lot of them. So we're Knysna Tarocco in the middle, this one, and then the purple-crested Tarocco, which is the one I'm going to show you, which we see, is over here. And I shall open it, and then we'll find a picture. Let's find a goodie. Yes, look at that one. Isn't that beautiful? Now, so all the Turaccos have that bright red underneath their feathers like that. That's only exposed when they're flying. Sorry, I'm being attacked by my own guarri branch here for a moment. That is, I'm using to swat the flies. It was tickling me. Apologies for that. So the reason for this is really amazing is that, like I said, they like to live in the and it's dropped. Sorry. And so these phones these days, these battery saving modes, they dim the screens all the time. Doesn't quite work out for us. So as they're flying, they're jumping from canopy to canopy, hopping about. That's what they do most of the time. They normally just fly short distances across a valley and then they land again. So very much like if a frog or a grasshopper is being stalked or chased by something, they will jump a short distance, expose that red, land again, and become completely camouflaged in their surroundings. And that bright coloration, that flash coloration, attracts the attention of the predator, and that's what they start searching for. So they stop looking for the greens and the browns and those colors, and they start looking for that bright color, which they don't see again unless that insect, bird, or amphibian were to leap and expose it. So that's really amazing. But the Neisner Turacco is really beautiful. It's got more greens. They've got a crest and a little white eye, stripe above its eye. And they make the most amazing call. I'm actually going to play the call for you because it's really cool. We'll play both of them. Let's do purple crested Turacco first. So this is a noise that you hear a lot when you go a little bit further south or wherever there's a big river system. You will hear them. Fig trees, love fig trees and jackalberries because they're eating fruit. So let's play the call. It's amazing, hey? It doesn't sound like a bird. You can imagine if you were to hear something like that, especially first thing in the mornings when you are, best was river cruises. You're going along, because we used to see them in Zambia as well, was the river cruises, and you'd hear that first thing when you'd see them swooping over the mist. Let's play my favorite one, the Neisner Turacco. Listen again, it's my favorite. Pretty amazing, hey? That those beautiful birds like that don't have the greatest voices. But that's often the case with birds, is if you've got beautiful bright feathers, your call is not necessarily the thing that you're using to attract your mates, but you're just trying to dazzle them with your looks. And then, well, the not so good looking birds, they are blessed with beautiful singing voices, and they sing the most stunning songs. And now when I say less beautiful birds, I mean just ones that haven't got all those colors on. So for instance, the robins, also the chugras, they're not so colorful, but they've got divine voices. They've got the most beautiful calls. But I miss seeing them, I must admit. I really did enjoy. And that is about a level 3 photograph, if you can get one of those. They're very, very, very difficult birds to photograph, living in the sort of the jungle, if you will. They're secretive, they're quite shy, but they also respond really well to calls, which was quite funny. So you'd hear them going, if you went or did that with a pencil on your car, you could actually attract them that way, which was quite nice, and they'd be curious and they'd bounce down the branches and come and have a little look and see what you're up to. But we've got a few impala. We've got mom and baby. So I lie, we've got a couple. We've got 2 impala. And just look at how tiny that little lamb is in comparison to the oxpecker. Oh, there I am again. Luckily, we have no doors, David, so I can lean out the side there. But yes, and there's Mom keeping an eye out just to make sure. I'm sure the rest of the herd is nearby, so they should be okay. We're going to go across to Tristan now, who is not looking at birds anymore, but it seems to have some kind of reptile hiding in a tree.
Indeed we do. So we're walking along looking for tracks of these leopards, and out of the corner of our eye we spotted a lizard lurking in a little crack. Now, I'm not sure how we actually spotted it. I think the bit of movement is what's given it away. As you can see, if we come back, that is the view that we had, and somehow managed to see that in there. Now it looks like a type of agama, maybe the female of a tree agama. They do like these little crevices and cracks in dead wood where they can hide out, and you can see the camouflage is absolutely perfect. And if a predator should come, it can squeeze into that crack a little bit more, and it would be really tough for anything to actually be able to get anywhere near it. But isn't that cool? Well done, girl. It's a very clever place for you to hide. You can see it's just giving us the beady eye, watching us, making sure we're not up to no good. And it's sitting absolutely dead still in the hope that we have not seen it and that we are going to just carry on past it and not worry it too much. If we did start to approach, I would imagine that it's going to try and utilize that crevice and get deeper in and hide under a piece of bark where we can't see it so that it can get away. So we're not going to stress it out too much. I think we'll carry on and move away from it. But that was a very nice spot. I can tell you while we're walking that it is getting hotter and hotter. It is so humid at the moment. The reason why I was commenting on it is I was watching Brian holding the camera and there's little drops of sweat coming down and it is very, very warm. Also, we're now going up a hill, so it's not exactly pleasant up the hill in the humidity. And earlier we were discussing whether or not you get used to the humidity. Now, in this particular area, we actually don't get that much humidity. We normally have quite a dry climate, so it's a little bit taking getting used to. And I suppose in time we would get used to it, but it always seems to be that much hotter when it's this humid. Now, let's go across to Taylor, who I believe has got something that might hunt this little lizard that we've just seen.
We do, and we have a juvenile martial eagle, so I think this chap would probably be going for something along the lines of a lizard with its inexperience. But as it gets older, being one of our largest eagles with the largest wingspan, it'll be catching something bigger. And you must actually ask Tristan about the story about the steenbok and the martial eagle. I think it was a steenbok or a common duiker. I'll let him tell you that story though, because it was really, really spectacular. Now, the reason why I know that this is a juvenile is that if you look at its head, can you see that its complete face is not completely brown yet, and it's only just starting to get the speckles, the brown specks on its chest too. Now, normally they're well striped and their head is completely brown, but it can take them a couple of years before they reach adulthood. But beautiful, beautiful birds nonetheless, and we're sitting really, really close to it, which is actually unusual. Normally they fly away when they see us, so I'm reluctant to actually move at all. But it's sitting up here. It's probably just resting. And I'm sure you can see it's working hard. It's scanning about, moving its head from side to side. It'll also be looking for something to eat. I don't know what it's going to find out here. But we've been seeing them feeding on a lot of rock monitors. I had an unbelievable sighting just the other day with a martial eagle. And it had swooped down and it picked up a rock monitor. And then it started feasting on it with the sunset behind it, which was really quite special. It was really nice. And I think in this particular area, actually in the Sabi Sands, I think I've seen martial eagles feeding on more reptiles than I have mammals. I've seen them catch a couple of squirrels and mongoose, and I've seen one eating a scrub hare before. But I don't think I've really seen them snatch up any larger mammals like duiker, like steenbok. I haven't been fortunate enough. That day will still come. But isn't it beautiful? Really, really lucky to see this bird. I got so excited I slammed on the brakes that David almost lost his teeth. Oh, David Ryan, you've said that this is your favorite big bird. I'm so happy that you are watching. We managed to show it to you this afternoon. Like I said, martial eagles, as common as what they are around this area, we don't often see them. It's just every now and then we'll see them moving about. So to have a sighting like this, it's definitely one to cherish. And it might be a new bird for some of you who have just started watching over the last few weeks, the last few months. And like I said, this is a martial eagle. So it's the largest eagle that we have in southern Africa, well, in South Africa. It's got a wingspan. It can almost reach 2.4 meters. So it's quite a big bird, and a heavy bird as well. It weighs up to about 4 kilograms. So that's about 9 pounds, somewhere around there. So it's not a small bird at all. I'm not sure how tall they are. I would reckon it's a hard one. Maybe maybe just shy of a meter to maybe 80 centimeters, 90 centimeters, maybe just less than that, somewhere around there. But they get quite large. Beautiful. I wish that it would actually take off now so that you could see how massive its wingspan is. Heron, you're wondering if it makes a call. It does indeed. Now, I'm not going to try and do it for you, but luckily I've actually got my bird app still open. Should we play it? Let me play it. Let me turn my sound up. This is two birds displaying, though. Quite amazing. So that wasn't just a single martial eagle making those sounds, though. The first call that you heard was, they said that it was sort of a mating display, and then the second call that you heard, which was slightly different, they said they were squabbling over food. So it could be an adult and a juvenile. You know what? There's somebody else sitting here watching, and I'm surprised it hasn't gone to mob this martial eagle. David, can you see that European roller just perched on the branch? We'll have a look at it. And the reason why I'm surprised that this bird hasn't gone to mob it is because a martial eagle is, of course, a raptor and a threat to a bird like this. We see it with the drongos, and you often see it with the rollers too, where they'll fly above their heads and start popping them. But they're causing, it's more of an irritation and a bother to the big eagle. This one, you're staying clear. You're not bothered. I think maybe it's going, oh, you look a little bit young and experienced. I could end up on your menu. I'll just sit over here and watch from a distance. But it is keeping an eye out on that martial eagle. As I've been watching both of them, the martial eagle doesn't seem to be paying it too much attention, but that roller, it turns its head every couple of seconds just to make sure it hasn't moved. But a big raptor like a martial eagle, when it takes off, it makes one big racket, not the silent flyer like the owls. Wow, it's actually turning into a great birding afternoon. I thought that we weren't going to get very lucky, but just in the last couple of minutes, we've had the go-away bird, we've had the crested francolin, now the martial eagle and the European roller. Not too shabby. Not a bad way. And I can hear some Retz's helmet shrikes as well calling in the distance too, which is quite a special bird. Whether we'll get a look at them, I'm not sure. Turtle trekking, you're wondering if there's any birds in our area that are endangered. There most certainly are. And the most famous one, which is sad that that's what it's famous for, I wish it was for other reasons, is the southern ground hornbill. So I'm sure you've seen the yellow-billed hornbills, the red-billed hornbills, and the African grey hornbills, which are smaller, but their cousin, the southern ground hornbill, is much, much larger, predominantly lives on the ground, and it is black, and, well, it's little wattles that it has. I don't know if you could call it wattles, but the puffy skin that it has under the neck. Excuse my lack of words there. I can't think of a better word or way to describe it. But that's normally bright red. So those are so horribly endangered for a number of different reasons. And yeah, it's very sad. We haven't seen them for a while, but I did hear them actually calling last night, and which is unusual at night. But I also heard a turtle dove and a guinea fowl. And because on one end of the sky, the moon was out, and coming from the east, there was massive clouds building up all that lightning and the rain that we had. So I think that could have been it. It could have just been all the light from the moon that was making the birds be a little bit more active during the middle of the night than what they normally are. What else is quite a rare bird? You obviously get birds that aren't very prominent in this area, but just in terms of endangered, I'd say out here it has to be the southern ground hornbill is the one that's on everybody's list. If you were to go down to the Eastern Cape, it would be the red-billed oxpeckers and the Cape vultures, probably more the Cape vulture than anything. But up here, we don't see the Cape vulture, but we're very lucky to see a lot of red-billed oxpeckers, and even every now and then able to see a yellow-billed oxpecker, which is something quite special too. Fantastic. What I'm going to do is I'm going to start, and we'll see if we can sneak past it. Tri-boy Z. You're wondering how endangered? No? Flyboy. Oh, look at it. It's wobbling a bit. Actually, we won't go anywhere. You can see it hasn't quite mastered the balancing skills, so that's a tiny branch for such a heavy bird. So you were asking how common are martial eagles and if they're endangered. To my understanding, they're not endangered. Oh, very clever move there, jumping to the next branch. But we don't see them very often. I don't know if it's because they've got massive territories, perhaps. And that's maybe why. You see that a lot with fish eagles in this area. You don't see so many because there's not enough water points, so you can only have a few. I can't think of why we don't see them so often. You know, some days I'll go into the Kruger National Park and you'll see them all over. And then you'll go weeks and weeks, even here, you'll go a couple of months and not see one at all. Maybe far up in the sky flying around, but nothing low. But an interesting question. We'll have to have a little read about that and figure out. I don't know how big their territories are. I'll have to have a little look into that. But a very lovely bird nonetheless. Great. Some special birds. Now, I haven't been keeping count. I'm terrible. I have absolutely no idea how many birds I'm on. I know I started yesterday. I don't know. I think I may have only got about 10 bird species, at least yesterday. But we've added 4 to that. I'll go back. I think I'll remember. Well, I'll try and remember through drive. I'll see. I'm just going to carry on going past. We might be able to look back and get another view of it. Let's see if we can get a different look. There's a little gap. I don't know, David, I'm going to leave the car on because I see there is a little branch there. So David's just leveling the camera because I keep parking on unlevel things. Sorry, David. Making your job very difficult. Okay, there we go. That's fine. There it is again. Now, Hannah, you're wondering how well can a martial eagle hear? Their hearing is not too bad. It's pretty good. Not as good as I could imagine an owl's would be. However, their eyesight is phenomenal. That is what they're really relying on. And that's with birds, all raptors. You see that their eyes are positioned right in front of their head. So they've got binocular vision versus, say, a starling or a robin or any one of the other birds, not a raptor, that's eyes are sort of more on the side. So they've got a better peripheral vision, whereas these guys unfortunately don't have the greatest I actually have I don't have my notebook here. I was going to show you a diagram that I drew of a raptor's, of their eyes and their field of view, but I think I've got every other notebook with me today besides my little one with all my drawings in. But you can see that it looks straight at us and they're so good at being able to focus in on their prey. But the hearing's not bad with the birds. Not too shabby. That's my word of the day today is shabby, by the way. We'll see how many times I can use it. I think I'm on 2 or 3 already. I'm practicing for when I go to Australia. I've got to speak the lingo correctly. So let's do this. Let's have a little bit of fun this afternoon. If you can think of if there's any Australians watching today, I'm calling on you. I need your assistance. And if you have any good phrases that you think I should learn that would impress my family that are all from Australia, because I can't go there and not, sound like one of them at a big barbecue, which I'm sure we'll have. So you'll have to hashtag Safari Live with the best Australian phrases that you can think of. And Kirsty's already given me one. Kirst, this is such an obvious one. Kirst, I don't know if I should do it with an Aussie accent. No, but I have to practice off air first because I'm a perfectionist and I don't know if I can do it first time. I'm not. There's too much pressure today. I feel like everybody's putting way too much pressure on me. But yes, the shrimp on the barbie. But we'll practice that, and I'll have to work on my accent too. So if you are watching and you are from Australia, my family's from Melbourne, so we need, and specifically Victoria, so we need to get that Victorian accent spot on. So if you do have any tips, like I said, I'm calling on you. Hashtag Safari Live. We need your help because I can't go over there looking like a rookie. That would just be an absolute embarrassment to my family. And I also want to tease my dad when I go home and annoy him, which is one of my favorite things to do. Obviously, I'm just teasing. It's just for fun, just a bit of banter, dad and daughter. And to get him back for all the nonsense story he's told me for most of my life. But big eyes, actually, now that we've got a really nice view of it, I didn't realize how large their eyes were in comparison to their head. Massive bill as well, which they'll use once they have caught anything, and it would definitely come in handy if you're catching something like rock monitors or any reptiles, having that very, very tough skin. That sharp point would tear straight through that flesh, no problem. and they'd be able to pick out their favorite bits. What a cool sighting! Like I said, I had that great sighting of the Marshall eagle eating the rock monitor, but this is still really good. We're so close. We don't often get close like this. So I hope you've also taken lots of screenshots to save, to add to your bird collection. Right, I've got to swat some flies, David. Do you have any flies?
I don't think so.
Are you sure? I'm just swatting David, just in case he has got any flies bothering him. Sorry, bird, I didn't mean to scare you. I'll stop swatting the flies. Nina, you said I need to say crikey. Yeah, mate, crikey. Crikey, that's a good-looking bird. Something along those lines. I think the more I practice, the more Australian I'm going to get. We'll try. You know what I need to do is, because my parents have sort of lost their Aussie accent, though I always tease them. It's my most favorite thing is that when they're speaking on the phone to other people, not to family, to our family in Australia and then just every other person, that accent becomes so prominent. It is so funny. And also, my dad does the same thing when he's just talking to people in general. He has a more Australian accent, but it's quite nice because it's not too harsh, so it's very easy to understand. Because I know sometimes when my older brother speaks to me, or even my aunt, I sort of have to try and say again what they've said out loud to make out what they were saying. It gets very complicated, and sometimes the accent can be a little bit harsh, and I suppose it doesn't help because I'm not guiding anymore, so I'm not being exposed to all the international people from all over the world really, and learning the different accents. That's one thing the guide, you're so good at picking up where people are from, so before anybody even tells you where they're from, you'll know, but then also and understanding them. So my best was, and one of the hardest things was going from English guests to Scottish guests. My goodness, that blew my mind when I first started guiding. I thought that they were not speaking English at all. And then obviously my ears became attuned to the different ways that people pronounce certain words. And then I was like, oh, okay, cool, this is not so bad. But now I hear when we stop and have a chat to the other guides and their guests in the vehicle, sometimes I just have to go, yes, and nod. I don't know what they would have said. You know what it's like when you're uncertain. Hey, we've got some magpie sharks just sitting in this quarry tree, and these look like little ones again. These are juvenile. Oh, it's got something in its mouth. What is it eating, David? A grasshopper. Delicious. Look, it's begging. Now I wonder if that's not mom, but even that one. Okay, so I'm going to tell you what's going on here because I've just figured it out in my head. On the left, we have a little magpie shrike from this year that is now begging for food. And the one on the right is not, I don't think, quite an adult yet either. Its tail's not particularly long. And I think that this is probably a chick from the previous year, because that is what happens with these magpie shrikes. If this one doesn't choke on its grasshopper, I think it's going to the ground to try and feed on a bit easier. But that magpie shrike that gave the grasshopper away, that was most certainly a juvenile from the previous season. So the brood from before will often help feed the new chicks, which is really amazing. So that's when you see them looking so gregarious. Let's see if we can spot it. It just flew into the grass here. No, that was not that one. I don't know where to wait. It's very, very hidden down here. Well, it was a pity. It would have been really nice, but I can only imagine that it went down to the ground so that it could use its feet and just help pull at that grasshopper, because it was a bit big to stuff down its throat. I think it was a bit ambitious there, but it will learn as it goes along. But quite a nice little sighting, I reckon. What a lovely interaction. Let's see what else. We've got fresh elephant dung just in the road. You can see that just over there. Now, where are the elephants, David? Now, they're quite sneaky. They cross back towards Sydney's dams. So let's do a big loop. Let's check here. I can't see any tracks. Actually, there were some buffalo tracks. Maybe we're going to get a whole array of animals that are just hiding out here. We'll keep an eye out. Where are you?
Sorry guys, I'm just on the radio. Copy, thanks, Sinead. Yeah, I checked on those tracks. I couldn't find anything going north. I'm going to go have another look now. What was the last updates on those Ngala on your side? Sorry, guys. I'm trying to find out about those Torchwood Pride. The Ngala that were near Jacobin. Okay, copy, thanks very much. Well, it's going to be a good place to check tomorrow morning. So they're probably about 100 meters from our Cheetah Plains boundary. This is the Torchwood Pride with 10 cubs, and they are very close, but it's in an area. I've just spoken to Sinead now. They tried to drive and then they got stuck. So they found them on foot. They can't get a vehicle in there. So fingers crossed they come to Cheetah Plains tomorrow morning. So that's 10 cubs and little cubs. I'm not sure of their ages yet, but wouldn't it be so exciting to see a new pride of lions? So, and there's been no sign of Hosana, Shongile or Karula down south, so they might still be around that Twin Dams area. Let me just get off the eastern channel and back onto the northern one. There we go. Okay, I'm going to check really carefully from now. Now, we're still okay here. Now, this area from here, anywhere down towards the Mawati, is sort of where Karula and Hosana and Shongile have been hanging out. So we might have missed tracks, so I'm going even slower than I was earlier, which is quite difficult. I'm just trying to think. The problem is that they could just be lying in the grass, and the grass is so long, we might not see them. Hi, Anne. Welcome, by the way. Anne is a new viewer, and Anne would like to, when is the best time to see the Big Five? Well, I assume you're meaning best time of the day. It's in the early morning and late afternoon, Anne, going through into the evening. It is the best time. It's when they're the most active. But you can see them at any time of the day. If you're talking about time of the year, they're always here. It's easier to see them in the dry season because there's less grass and less water, so they are focused on water points, and it's much easier to spot them when you're not trying to stare into grass that's in some places nearly as tall as me now. Come on, leopards. Oh, lots of spider webs I got on Cheetah Plains. So I'm really hoping that Torchwood Pride does make an appearance in Cheetah Plains tomorrow morning. That would be wonderful, seeing a new pride of lions on foot.
So we're back and we are looking around, and we've stumbled into some harvester termites. So they are busy taking grass, and there's a very greedy little termite. Now that would be Connor in camp. Connor is the biggest eater of all of us, and he loves a good snack, and that termite has just taken a massive piece of grass down its little hole. Now these termites will be coming out. I know that Jamie, it was yesterday morning, right? Yesterday morning I think it was, Jamie had a whole bunch of termites building their nests on the roads, and this is exactly what's going to start happening. These guys are going to be going out now, and they're going to start foraging for bits of grass. They're going to be looking for anything that's grown up here, and then they're going to harvest it, as the name suggests, and then carry it back into their nest and into the hole, where they will then utilize microbes in each one's saliva. They'll pass it along, and each one's saliva will start to break down the cellulose, and eventually by the time it goes through the entire colony, everyone has gained a little bit of nutrients from it. So a very clever system. Now I'm going to stop sitting and start walking. I was about to go into a pose of Brent Leo Smith. Maybe I should give you the blue steel look that Brent gives. Now the funniest thing about this whole story, about Brent's modeling photos is that they were supplied, a lot of them, by his dad, Mr. Leo Smith. So that is the best part about this whole story. I absolutely love the fact that his dad got involved and decided to share with the world Brent's past, which is quite colourful to say the least. Now, we are going to go look around. I know Taylor said she had zebras running out of this area, so I'm going to go and try and see what we can find. So we're going to start looking through and seeing if there's any sign of anything and check along this little riverbed that runs along here. Now, in all likelihood, if there was a predator, I highly doubt that they would be anywhere near the riverbed, because that riverbed is still flowing. I've seen that there was water when we went out earlier, so I doubt that they would have been there. But we'll go back to also Taylor. I know Taylor had the Martial Eagle, and she was saying that there's a story that I need to tell about the steenbok. Well, it's quite a fascinating one. I was on Chitwa driveway, and I was sitting watching this little steenbok, and it was busy feeding, and it was very cute, and all my guests were gushing over how cute this little antelope is, and isn't it sweet? And all of a sudden there was this whooshing sound, and down came this Martial Eagle and absolutely smashed into this poor steenbok. The steenbok's back broke instantly, and it literally just caved in, and the Martial Eagle dug its talons in and just crunched with those feet, those incredibly powerful feet, and then flew up into the tree and started devouring it. I think I turned around and everybody was just wide-eyed and these mouths were hanging open. I don't think anybody realized just how powerful those Martial Eagles are, and the force at which it hit that steenbok was quite incredible. The sound that it made, it sounded like an American football game or a rugby game with two players impact one another, and that crunch that happens when they do. So it was quite amazing. It just shows you how they are capable of taking quite large and substantial prey items. Now, funny enough, talking about steenbok, earlier we were walking along and there was a little steenbok lying in the grass, and Aubrey almost stepped on it. The grass was so long at that stage, we were walking and the grass was about this high, and none of us actually saw the steenbok, and poor Aubrey was stepping along, and this steenbok and Aubrey both got a fright as they exploded out of the grass. And it's one of those moments where you're hoping that that's not a leopard that you've just almost stood on, and rather a little timid antelope that then goes bounding away from you. But it was quite funny to watch. I think the steenbok maybe got more of a fright than what Aubrey did. Now, I can't think of who would actually be here that would be causing the baboons to alarm call and for the zebras to start running out here. Now, maybe it could be that the Nkuhumas have come from Arathusa. I know that nobody has found them on Arathusa, and nobody has actually seen any signs of their tracks today, and they would like to utilize this area, and they do come this way. Just careful there, Lamek. Sorry, Lamek is walking backwards. I'm doing a naughty thing. Let me walk backwards rather, but he almost tripped over a big tree, so I'm going to walk backwards because I've seen the way. He's also focusing on using the camera, so we've done a little camera change. Lamek is on now, and Brian is busy walking with us just to see how things go. But like I was saying to you, that I can't imagine what would be maybe the Nkuhumas is the only thing, because there's been no real signs of Karula, there's been no tracks, and the only tracks that we saw of that leopard earlier was, like I said, during the rain, and it looked like tracks for Hosana, not for Karula or Shongile. So maybe she is here, but I don't think so. I think it would be in all likelihood the lions. Now, it's going to be a difficult area to check with vehicles, so for us on foot it's much easier. Careful. I'm having a winning day today. Sunk in the sand, tripping over branches. I'm nowhere today, Brian. I'm sorry. It's like a series of miscalculated events this afternoon. And now I'm messing up my words too. This is going swimmingly well. I'm just having a look around. It's getting to that time of the day where, with this humidity, maybe we'll start to see a few insects coming out, a few of the moth species, but otherwise it's been a little bit quiet in the grass. We've not seen as many spiders as we normally see. Also, the insects have been few and far between. I think with all the rain that we've had, we've ended up washing a lot of these, and they've all gone and try and hide away, and you'll find some of them will be a little bit damp still, so they'll still be trying to dry out those wings before they can move. But I tell you what, it's amazing what the grass looks like compared to 2 weeks ago. I walked in this exact same area, and this grass was brown about 10 days ago, and was quite short. In fact, it was probably about calf high, whereas now the grass, as you can see, is sitting almost close to my hip and is a lot greener and lusher. So it's really nice to see the change after this rain. It was really needed, because I don't think we would have been able to recover from that drought had we not had this amount of rain that we've had in the last little bit. Right, so we're going to carry on looking around here and seeing if there's any sign of some toothy, sharp clawed critter. And while we do that, let's go back to Taylor and see what she's doing.
We haven't had any luck, sadly, with the nkuhumas, so David has given me the fantastic idea that did you just shout yes? Yes. Very excited about that. So we've moved out of there. I'm not sure if those nkuhumas are perhaps still on Arathusa, but the area that they're in is terrible, and they've still sort of closed quite a few roads, as we have closed quite a few roads, so we won't be able to head down into that area. But let's hope that for Sunrise Safari those lines will be back across. We might even swing down there a little bit later, because that's where Mvula was also seen. He apparently crossed at One Eye Pan, and he won't stay down in the west for very long. He'll be back to his northern sector, so we'll do that. We'll go check down here. I want to check the hyena den super quickly just to see if there's any luck, then go to Treehouse Dam, and then we'll do a boundary patrol. Brent is trying to chat to him. Let me talk to him quickly. Standing by for you, Brent. He was apparently trying to get hold of me, and I was naughty. I turned my radio off. Okay, copy. Okay, well, wasn't anything too serious. Just listening. I just heard some birds alarming. Nothing though. There's just somebody chatting away there. Oh, listen, can you hear the trickling of the water?
I think so.
Have a little listen. It's lovely, isn't it? It's so peaceful. I don't think I've ever heard trickling water since I've been here. All the bushveld rain frogs chirping away. Lovely. Okay, let's quickly go to the hyena then, because we're now running out of light and we don't want to disturb those hyenas at night time. That's so nice to see running water. That's so cool. It's so amazing. Everything has subsided quite a large amount though since Jamie showed you all this morning. Okay, we're not far. We're gonna turn. Oh, Jigger, you are so bumpy. Almost lose David every time I go into a little bump. We're gonna have to make you a safety harness, David. Especially my driving, hey? I always seem to want to kill David on the vehicle. Not any other cameraman, none. Just David and I have the worst luck together. Oh, yes, please, Kirst, share the Australians. Janice, you said that I must say, this is wonderful. We're now doing Australian phrases in case you are just wondering what nonsense we're babbling about now. But I'm heading to Australia in the beginning of April to go and visit, well, pretty much my entire family, who I haven't seen for a very, 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 very long time. So I'm practicing my Australian. So I'm supposed to say, a dingo ate my baby. Got your head there. In the accent, and then oh, hang on, we just knocked the aerial down. We'll just put it back up very quickly. And then the other one was past the Vegemite. Oh, and I didn't practice while I was off air, David. You were supposed to remind me. Okay, you do the dingo ate a baby first. No, you gotta make so everyone can hear. This is David's attempt.
The dingo ate the baby.
Yeah. And mine is, no, too much pressure. A dingo ate my baby. No, that's something else. I don't know how to do an Australian accent. That's fair. Any baby. Do you have a baby, David? I don't have a baby that a dingo could eat, so I don't think it was just a baby. Just a baby, yes. We're struggling on now what the correct sentence was. And then pass the Vegemite. No, I have to practice, okay? I promise I will practice when I'm off air this time. But properly. Where is our mound? Are we going the right way? Oh, no. No, I'm not answering that. Kirst, I'm not answering that. Okay, Scotty, you wondering if I'm related to... I don't know where I'm going. Why don't I remember this? Where did we miss it? Oh, we missed our turn. So Scotty, you're wondering if I am related to the cricket legend Rod McCurdy. Unfortunately, I am. That's my dad. That is my father. We are the only McCurdys in South Africa. There are none of us, and there are only 4 that live here. So yeah, so my dad played cricket for Australia for a little bit, and then he was rebel, literally, and came and played down on the rebel tour in South Africa. So this was during apartheid, when because of the apartheid that was going on in South Africa, South Africa was banned from playing any international sport. So there was some sneaky people that came down, and my dad never left South Africa. So yes, that is my history. No hyena. There's nobody home. I'm so sad. I don't know where they are. Tristan said that he'd seen all of their tracks coming in and out, so they must still be around, and I'm sure those little cubs are just hiding away in there. Perhaps our dear friend Ribbon has already left and gone off on an adventure. However, there's also a possibility that she could have moved. It's not uncommon for a hyena, especially a single hyena. It's easier for her to get up and move. If there were any threats around that would have made her move off, there's a chance. But no luck. We'll have to keep trying. We'll keep coming back. I'll come back tomorrow morning again, and hopefully we get lucky. But I miss them. I miss our darling bundles of joy. They were so lovely to have around all the time. Okay, let's carry on. We've got to go back out now. David, I think both of us could work on our Australian accents. They're not very good. I'm actually... if any of my family are watching, they're going to be shaking their heads saying, what an embarrassment I am. But I'll get better. I promise that I will practice. Off air, David, I'm not allowed to speak South African English to you.
All right, fine.
For the next, well, Can I say that again? The pan. What do I need to refer to the pans as? Billabong. So Kirsta said, I think Kirsta's more Australian than I am. She says that I have to refer to all the pans as billabongs. I didn't even know that. I know that you've got to call a beer a dunny. Yeah, mate, you got a dunny for me. I think that's something. My dad always says something along those lines. What else does my dad say? No, a tinny. A tony, I think, is a bathroom. I don't know, and I'm confused. It's also, there's too much to try and remember. Tinny, I think, is a beer. You'll have, like I said, I'm waiting for instructions and things. What else? A barbie is obviously a barbecue or a braai, as we would say. What other? My best one in South Africa, which I've been teased for my entire life, my entire school career, and my friends still tease me about it now, is the word tea towel. Because a tea towel, for me, is a cloth that stays dry. So it's not, I don't know how to describe it, but a South African would call it a lappy. Isn't that a horrible word, a lappy? I think it's so harsh. So that's what they called, and I would say, oh, could you please pass the tea towel? And then they'd look at me with, horrified, going, what on earth is that? And I'm like, I don't know, a cloth, a dish towel. Then a dish towel is something that you wash dishes with, so it's very confusing. Growing up at home and then trying to be around my friends and not be too nerdy, it was very difficult. And you said I need to tell them I want a dog's eye with sauce. I will phone my mom tonight and I will tell her. I have to call her mum as well, because they don't say mom in South Africa. We say mom for mother, and in Australia and actually most places in the world you say mum. So I have to start calling her mum from now on too. But I don't know what a dog's eye with sauce is. Actually, I have to ask my dad. I think my dad will probably know. Maybe we'll try. I don't know. I think they've lost a bit of their the Australian roots though. It is. Sorry, Kirst, please go with the name again. Is it? I didn't. Oh, Beck, you've said that a dunny is a toilet. It is, yes. There was a very funny movie, I can't remember what it's called for the life of me now, about a typical Australian, and I can't remember, I think he put up the porta potties or something. It was quite funny. Finding Kenny, that's it. That was a hysterical movie. Ah, lovely. And yes, that's where the dunnies came from. But yes, a tinny is a beer then, and a dunny is a toilet, so we don't want to have a dunny to drink. seriously lost in translation. They said, don't take any tips from me if you're planning on visiting Australia. Let me go there first and see if I can survive without being laughed at. This is ridiculous, but I'm going to practice now, I promise, my Australian accent, and hopefully it will improve. David will be very strict and beat me with his quarry branch if I don't sound Australian. But it's gotten very dark all of a sudden with these clouds moving in, and I know Tristan, well, we'd like to keep Tristan nice and safe, so let's go across to him, and I'm sure he's going to say goodbye to you shortly.
Indeed, Taylor, it has gotten quite gloomy quite quickly, and being on a walk is not the safest to be out here at night. Everything starts to change a little bit. We go from the top of the food chain to the bottom very, very quickly as it gets darker. And as you can see behind me, there is this big cloud bank that is developing, and so that is all the storm clouds that we've seen during the day today. And I reckon that they are closing in, and I think we might be in for a similar situation to what we had yesterday, where we kind of finished out the afternoon with a cloudy bank, and then by the early hours of the morning or late hours of the night, a storm had rolled in and a bit of thunder and lightning had pursued. And with the humidity the way it is, I wouldn't be surprised that we do get a little bit of rain today. So as we're kind of strolling home, there's some impalas up ahead of me here that are watching me very, very carefully. I think they're quite nervous as to what I'm doing in this grass. You can see the male is standing bolt upright and is listening and looking. So he's kind of checking around, making sure that I'm not something that's about to eat him. Right, so I think on that note, we are going to start making our way home. It's time to go and get an apple juice, and as they say in Australia, maybe put another shrimp on the barbie. And so let's go across to Brent and see what's happening with him.
I wonder if Taylor knows about Monty Python and Bruce. Hi, my name's Bruce. This is Bruce, and that's Bruce. Very funny. Oh, an animal! Don't run away, waterbuck. Oh, it has been quite quiet. This is, I think, the first antelope we've managed to put onto camera today. There we go, a lovely big waterbuck male. Now I've got a question for you guys. Is a waterbuck male a ram or a bull? As he disappears like everything else today. If you know the answer, hashtag Safari Live on Twitter. Is a waterbuck male a ram or a bull? I was trying to think of any other strange Australian sayings that I know of, but I still think the one that makes the most sense to me is the funniest is the Monty Python Bruce sketch. Now, of course, Taylor must be. Oh, hang on. Oh, that's where the leopard tracks were, and there's a car. No, I think he might have just got a bit scared by the water in the little car. But we've come back now that it's a bit cooler. We've done a loop through here, and we're hoping that Hasana and Shungila might be out and about in this area. But as I said, Australia must be quite torn. Now, who does she support in the cricket? Australia or South Africa? Well, the South Africans are world number ones, and the one-day format at the moment. And we are going to be playing Australia, or we're playing a big tournament. Lots of teams, Australia, India, England shortly. We've just beaten New Zealand in a one-day series. And of course, I forgot to mention, but yesterday, something very good happened. My rugby team won, so they have put me through a stressful little while, but they won yesterday, and they were playing in Australia. They beat the Brumbies. Huh? There's an upset little bird calling. I wonder if the leopards are here. Or antelope up to the size of an inyala. are called rams and ewes. So Steenbok, ram, duiker, ram, impala, ram, bushbuck, ram, and then we get to Inyala, which is the turning point. It's an Inyala bull and an Inyala ewe, but after that it is a bull and a cow. Oh, there's the male. Don't fly, he flew. It was a male redback shrike. Now, I was hoping that there was going to be a leopard sitting on top of this termite mound. So the last tracks we saw went into this area, but they had still been rained on, so it was towards the end of the rain this morning. And we've checked this area extensively. I've walked all these bushes and no sign, but with those guys, they could be sleeping right next to you. Cedar Point would like to know what animals are most active during the night. Well, of course, that's the nocturnal ones. So, especially from a large mammal point of view, well, elephants are actually quite active during the night. Elephants are sort of our insomniacs out here. They only sleep for about 2 hours every day and can go as long as 72 hours without sleeping. And well, lion, leopard, hyena, genet, civet, white-tailed mongoose, bush babies, and lots of insects, frogs. And speaking of frogs, I'm going to see if we can find some. They're starting to call a lot at the moment. There's another banded rubber frog. Can you hear that? I can hear a grey tree frog. Sounds like a burp. Great tree frog's other name is, of course, a foam nest frog. Well, no sign of those little rats, Hosanna and Shangile. They're proving to be but difficult. Of course, everything's a little bit difficult after the rain, especially since there's a lot of areas where we are unable to drive because it's too wet. And there's white-browed scrub robin calling. One of the last daylight birds to give it a good go. I don't think we're going to be able to see it before night sets in. They sort of announce the changing of the guard. Of course, other nocturnal species, and I think we might see a few of those tonight. Your coursers, thick-knees, and nightjars. Roxy's wondering about bats. See, we get a lot of bats. They're just near impossible to put on camera. And especially after rain like this, I think the bat's going to be very active because of the explosion of insect life we're going to be experiencing. I'm quite nervous. As soon as it gets a bit darker and all the lights that surround us, we get covered in insects. Now, one of the rules that you have to teach people when they first move out to the bush is that people tend to swat at bugs that land on them, and that is a very bad idea, because if you smack a blister beetle or something untoward, it's going to spray acid all along your neck and it's going to be very painful. So generally, if a bug lands on you, you don't want to panic, you want to gently flick it away. Now, let's go back to Bruce on the other vehicle, see what Bruce is up to. Or is it Sheila?
Nah, mate, it's a Sheila. I'm a Sheila. David's a Bruce. Brent, yeah, you're also a Bruce. But the funny thing is I actually have an uncle and his name is Bruce. Can you believe it? Crikey. Now, Brent, you were asking a little bit earlier about what I think about the cricket and who I support. Well, it's a bit of a tough one there. It's the same with me mum and dad back at home. This is ridiculous. My dad, he sits on the fence a little bit. They're typical Australian. He says whoever plays a good game, yeah, well, then he supports them. Me, on the other hand, I support Australia, and what I used to do is when I'd go to the cricket with my mates and walking around, I used to have a big old Australian flag hidden in my bag, and when they least expected it, I'd whip it out and I'd do the old wave.
Lovely.
And all my friends would cringe with embarrassment. That's it.
Yeah.
I have to tell you though, David and I very quickly watched a YouTube tutorial on how to speak like an Australian, and we went through the words that you're not allowed to say that end in an R. Care, river,
Together.
forever.
Forever.
And it was quite amazing. So I'm going to have to keep practicing, of course. And eventually we'll get better. But we've finally made it to Treehouse Dam safely. And well, there's not much Australian going on down here. But there are lots of frogs. David, are you Australian?
Yeah, mate.
Yeah.
Dad is.
Is your dad Australian?
Yeah.
Yeah, my goodness.
My dad is. My mum's.
We're basically related then. Very funny. So David was telling me that his dad always said when he used to see young couples, sort of the South African word would be canoodling. So canoodling, we would say canoodling or canoodling.
Put that woman down.
Put that woman down. And that's not very nice. Do you want to hear something nasty?
Yeah.
That Tristan and Brent have just called. They just called David and I convicts. Can you believe that, mate? Crikey. Basically, we are. We're relatives, I think, of our friends, the zebras, that look like they've just walked out of prison as well. Okay, nothing happening here. There were a couple of, actually, because I think I was making too much noise, the frogs stopped chirping. So we shall have to try another pan. Perhaps Shabamu will be a good pan to check. I'm also not going to go across this dam wall, even though it looks fine, but we had 50 mils of rain, so I think we'll give that a skip. We shall go the scenic way around. Actually, let's just go back this way. We're going to go to those pans now. Now, James, you're wondering if there's any particular wildlife that I'd like to see while I'm in Australia. I think we should just call it what it is and say Straya. Straya, which also happens to be one of my many nicknames in camp. Anything in particular? A red widow. I want to see a spider. And I want to see a brown snake. Love to see a big old brown snake. No, that's not even, that was a little bit American that I went there. What else would be a cool thing? David, what would you like to see? I'd want to see, and kookaburras. Oh, dying to see kookaburras. David mumbled. He wants to see all the things that can kill you. So basically most of them except koalas. I suppose they could maybe scratch your eyes out. I don't know. But yes, most of them do always want to eat you. I think I read it. I don't know how true it was, but I read an article. Like I say, you come across these things. Sometimes I don't open them because I think, oh, that website's maybe seem so accurate. And they'd said that they'd discovered another venomous snake. And I was like, another one? Really? Overachieve much with all the venomous creatures? But I think that's quite cool. My aunt always tells me about the big brown snakes that used to live on, they have sort of small holdings, like small farms, and so she always used to tell me about these big snakes. And my dad is petrified of snakes and spiders, and my mom is even more scared of snakes. It is the funniest thing you've ever seen in your entire life. I think that's maybe why they moved to South Africa, was to get away from the snakes and spiders. I'll ask them next time I see them. And my mom would scream blue murder if she saw a snake. She still does to this day when she sees snakes. She freaks out. But luckily in Johannesburg there's not too many. I did actually watch a very funny video. This has got nothing to do with Australia except my mom's accent. But there was a brown house snake, which is a completely non-venomous snake. It's a constrictor. It's my favorite snake. It happened to get into the house, so I presume it was on it must have been an exceptionally hot day that the snake felt the need to come inside and terrorize my mother, but she was home alone. So my brother walked in and he could hear my mom making really noises coming from inside the house. So he started videoing as you came in, and because he said that she could hear panic in her voice, and it was basically that she was trying to pick up the snake with a pair of tongs, so she was home alone. Funniest video you've ever seen in your life. But have a little listen. Now I'm sure that was a nice I'm sure that it's much better than hearing the sound of my voice all the time. But I have a question for all of you that are watching. Which frog is making this most prominent? Doesn't sound anything like that. Which frog is making that noise? So hashtag Safari Live with your answers. And Tristan in particular has actually been talking about them quite a bit of late. So you should be able to get this one quite easy. But I'll let you have one more listen. So there's a couple of different frogs, but it's a frog. I'll give you another clue. I haven't seen it yet. Just heard it, but have yet to find it. Send those answers through hashtag Safari Live on Twitter if you can guess what frog is making that.
Well, it seems like the convict Amin Taylor has had a bit of a gremlin problem. So, back with us. And I'm moving through to a spot where I think we could get some different frog species from the ones you're getting around the stationary pan. Maybe some of the stream frogs. I could hear a tremolo sand frog a little earlier. Here we go, we're about to arrive. Now, we're at Philemon's Dip, and the water is still flowing. And just listen now. So unfortunately, I think the best frogging pans are on Ingwe Alley, and we can't drive there at the moment, it's too wet. There's tremolo sand frogs. Haven't heard any bubbling casinas here on Djuma yet. I heard them on Cheetah Plains. It is awesome though. I was hoping we might find a froggy out in the open, but no such luck. Tristan said he heard some calling around Twin Dams earlier. Now where is my spotlight? Oh, look at that. Now this is where we saw the hyenas eating termite alates, and obviously the rain's done some damage, and it looks like there's some termites doing some repair work on the side of this big mound. What is that? Is someone there? Here we go. Working really hard. And you can see all the soldiers out on the edge offering protection. So a lot of that work is going to be going on where we can't see it. But you've got masses of soldier termites standing guard. I wonder if they also could be preparing for an emergence a little later. So they could be preparing to release some alates out, the flying ants. I wonder if we're going to get more rain tonight. I'm not sure. What do you think, Batman? Maybe. A Batman hedging his bets. I'm hoping we might get an owl or two after the rain. Ah, there we go. The first nocturnal bird. Bronze-winged coursers. They are going to be ecstatic after probably not feeding very much at all last night while being completely drenched. There's going to be lots of chachas for them to eat tonight. Come on, out of the road. Good course up. No, I'm not getting any comms. Oh dear, that's why I'm not getting any comms. I've pulled out my thingamabob. Well, let's see how the convict, Taylor, is doing with the frogs.
We've got, it's very loud, I feel like I need to talk extra loud now. We've got a pair of African bullfrogs. There's actually a couple of them around. And have any of you managed to guess which frog is making all of this noise? It's not the bullfrog. But that's a great shot. That's an amazing reflection too. And I'm going to see if I can hopefully find one for you. It might take me actually going around the other side of the dam, because I think that they're sitting in all of this long grass. But a bit late for the bullfrogs. Normally after bouts of rain, we'll have lots of them around. Well done to Diana, Josh, James, and there was one more name, Kirst. Diana, Josh, James, and Laura, and lots of others. Congratulations, you all guessed correctly, and you said banded rubber frog. That is indeed what is calling. Should we try and find one now, so that I can add it to my list, and all of you who haven't seen it can add it to yours. Like I said, we're going to just zoom around. We're going to go onto the other side of this little pan, because they're just sitting in here underneath this buffalo thorn. Right, you just move around quickly. Rip. Take us just 2 seconds. We might have to sit for just a minute or so before they start calling again and give away their position, but that's alright. Okay, we are here. Let's go sneaky. I'll turn my lights off so they don't know we're coming. We're gonna have to see them. Okay. David, are you ready to be quick? We're gonna start the scan. Are we looking for reflection in the eyes? You seen anything yet, David? Can we maybe go in close to the spotlight? Nothing yet. We should be able to see them relatively easy. Tristan seems to be the king at spotting, so I'm just checking again. Where are they? Tristan, you need to give me... David, can we go in straight over there? What's sitting a little bit to the right? No, that's just a piece of grass that's reflecting that I'm looking at. Where are they? Okay, let's go forward. I'm gonna reposition. Maybe they're sitting in that little gap over there. We have to get one. So Tristan actually said if they are mating, they'll be out in the open swimming. I've seen a couple of terrapins, and hang on, yeah, this sounds like we might win. It could just be the males just giving their calls at the moment. Let's have a quick scan here. I think that they're in all of this very, very long grass, hiding away, which is making it very difficult for us to spot them. Check the trees. There's the tremolo sand frog. That isn't this makes me so frustrated that they're just in here. I'm going to carry on going a little bit further along. Wow, there was a frog that just leapt into the water. Oh, hang on. But I think... Oh, this looks like a sand frog. David, I think it's almost impossible to get. Let me go back. I also can't reverse into the water. This is not going to work. I'm not too close. I'm going to see if I can... Hang on, David. Let me quickly jump out. No, it's right here. I want to just see if I can... I'm going to just come unplugged for a moment. Oh, it's jumping to my foot. No, don't jump to my foot. Can you see it swimming there? Was it too close? Okay, watch somewhere around here. I'm going to see if I can go swim that way. No, down there. We want to see you. Okay. Naughty frogs. Okay, let me climb back in. Disaster. Now I'm tangled. What a nightmare. This little frog, it was a tremolo sand frog, but unfortunately it doesn't want to be seen. It's wanting to hide away just out of our view. Okay, we're going to keep searching for these frogs. We're going to have to get right. We're not leaving until we find one. Brent hasn't got an amphibian. He's got a reptile.
Well, I got a reptile who's hunting for frogs. So I saw some splashing in the Djuma pan. So I decided to pop down here quickly, and then there we go. It's a water monitor. But you can hear the frogs around us. Bubbling cassinas, banded robber frogs, African bullfrogs, tremolo sand frogs. Let's see if I just do that there. Look at that. So that water monitor is very happy with all the rain. Firstly, because he's got lots of water to hunt in, or mostly, and happy that the frog species have exploded, because there's lots for him to hunt. I just want to see where he goes next. I'm just going to take my spotlight off for a second. I'm going to leave the side light on. I just want to see if there are any... Oh, he's going to take a swim. Look at him go. So at home in the water. Yep. No more frogs there. Oh, what's that there on the opposite side, Craig? Is that a frog there? Or is that a stone? Looks like a stone. And our monitor has ducked under the water. Oh, look at that. That could be... I'm not going to leave the light there for very long, but that's... If the monitor got close enough, I think the three-banded plover would be too wary, though. Shame, little three-banded plover. Watch out. Now, I'm just going to go park behind us here where the majority of the bubbling cassinas were calling. Banded rubber frogs are down in the Djuma dam itself. But the cassinas were calling up here. Now, they are great ventriloquists. They're actually very, very beautiful frogs. And they've got a very beautiful call as well. So now we're in the spot surrounded by the cassinas. So it sounds like it's right here, but it could be over there. So I'm just going to keep quiet and listen for a second. You can hear the stunning sounds. So cool. Now, one of the ways, because they're such good ventriloquists and they're quite often very hard to find, one of the ways to find them is to judge when they stop calling if you stand near them, because obviously they'll feel the vibrations. I think there might be thorns here. Okay, I'll wait for that one to call again. Where's my torch? Buried somewhere. I'll just leave that on the... Maybe one will hop. You never know, I could get lucky. But they are incredible ventriloquists. They could be sitting 10 meters away. No hops. He's still calling right next to us here. No, ventriloquist frogs. Now, there's a very important reason why a lot of frogs have the ability to be ventriloquists. Of course, making so much noise, you might attract the attention of a monitor lizard, a white-tailed mongoose, or something else that might want to eat you. So they can carry on advertising for ladies by calling and at the same time remain safe from predators. They just sound like they're everywhere. Sometimes you do get lucky. Oh. Aha, we have a frog. An African bullfrog. There we go. Womp, womp. That's a very bad impression of what they sound like. That is a female African bullfrog. Oh, she's got a bit shy. We can hear some calling in the distance. Womp, womp. Maybe she's on her way. She thinks that male sounds gorgeous, so she's heading towards him. Oh, it's so unfortunate. We can't get any closer to the water there. Now, Connor is actually just there now. I saw him. We do apologize that the damn cam is down. Connor is on it and trying to get it rectified as soon as possible. So he is on it, don't worry. He was actually standing next to the camera when we arrived. Now, another thing with this rain and all the frogs being out and all the insects being out, we might get lucky with an animal like a white-tailed mongoose or a civet on quarantine, or even the grumpy old man of the bush. And of course, I'm talking about oh jeez, Breviceps is its scientific name, and I've just gone blank on its Latin name. Breviceps as bushveld rain frog. There we go. Breviceps asperta. And looks like a very grumpy old man. We do, of course, get Mozambique rain frogs here as well. Well, it sounds like Taylor's still frogging. Let's see if she's had any success.
I'm very upset because I can't find the banded rubber frog, but we found the tremolo sand frog. Look at it go. Isn't that amazing? That vocal sac, which they expand and it helps them amplify their sound. So that is really cool. So the tremolo sand frog is the one that's going, it reminds me of a sonar in a submarine. That's how I remember that call. Banded rubber frog, I'm not sure how I'd remember that. It's quite a loud sound that you just can't forget. And there's one that is just teasing me at the moment. It's right next to me and I cannot find it. This is where I need gumboots so I can go splashing about in this water. I'm a bit scared to do that at night. I don't know what is around. And then you'll see that there's another bullfrog as you come out. Hello. Where's your friend? You're very quiet tonight. And there's no reason for this chap to call if nobody else is calling. Perhaps there just aren't enough females around at the moment. It looks very much like a male to me. Okay. Oh well, David will have to try again. Tomorrow is another day. Let me try one last. No, I've got to call it quits. Winners know when to stop. Veronique, you're wondering if I can sleep with all the sounds of the frogs? Relatively easily, actually. you become so used to it, and a sound like that for me is really nice. Let's put lights on. However, it was one of the biggest complaints we often received from guests, especially if they had a swimming pool outside their rooms, and at Earth Lodge that was the case. They all had big plunge pools, and I think I've told the story many times. Actually phone and say, can somebody please come and do these frogs? What do you do? It's quite nice, but a sound like that right outside your door is definitely not great. It would be difficult to sleep, but we get so used to it. We are so accustomed to all of these calls that it doesn't really bother us. I mean, none of us even wake up anymore for lions roaring, hyenas calling. Listen, we'll have one look at the sky before I chase him away. Just on the tip of the hood there, another tremolo sand frog. There's an abundance of amphibians out tonight. It is really, really lovely, and I'm sure that's because of all the water, but there's also lots of food for them. You can see all those little insects flying around. Don't go in the water because I want to drive there. We'll have to be very careful when we do drive through there. But that's what Jamie was saying this morning, is you got to make sure that you go through all of these puddles very, very slowly to give the frogs and terrapins and things an opportunity to get out the way. No, no, no. Go away, go that way. Out it goes. And Kat and Tampa, you're wondering if there are any frogs that eat other frogs? Ooh. Maybe the bullfrogs. I'm actually not certain at all. Most of them feed on insects, but as soon as you get to the size of a bullfrog, you can start to even eat rodents. And I'm talking about the giant bullfrog now. They have got big mouths and a ferocious appetite. That's a terrapin. Sorry, I'm just I thought there was another frog. There's a bushveld rain frog calling around here, somewhere in this spot, but we'll go past. Not actually, so I can't think. Maybe we'll have to ask Brent. Maybe he'll, for the life of me, I can't think of ever seeing a frog eating another frog, or perhaps I just wasn't concentrating. There's definitely a lot of snakes that eat frogs, and normally after rain like this, you see an abundance of snakes about that will come from them, from the constrictors. So I've seen pythons eating bullfrogs before. I've seen eating bushveld rain frogs before. Lots of different snakes out here that will feast on them. Birds, the jackals eat frogs, mongoose like to eat frogs, but other frogs, I'm uncertain. We'll ask Brent. I think when we go back to Brent, we shall ask his expert opinion. Oh, is that a bush baby? Yes, David, we may be lucky. Let me go forward, but it's in here. Don't jump, don't jump. Can you see the eyes? It's just moving. There it is, it's just going, there we go. Yeah! And it's gone. It leaped off of that branch. You can see it was just moving around over there. But that is a thing, we haven't seen little galagos for a while, have we? What a lovely surprise, a lovely little lesser bush baby. We'll see if we can find some more. That one wasn't too cooperative. And again, we're going to start seeing a lot of these amazing creatures that we don't often see, that are shy. Oh, we're having frog roadblock. Look at this. Oh, hello. We've got a double frog roadblock. These are two African bullfrogs. David, have you got insects biting your feet? Okay, do you need the guarri branch? I've lost the guarri branch. I've thrown it out the vehicle. But there is a mating pair of African bullfrogs. And then there's that one who will probably try and chase this male off of his female. So at least there's a bit of canoodling going on still. Now we need to come past all of you though. Will you be kind enough to let us pass? Or am I going to have to quote Lord of the Rings? I'm not sure. Here it goes. Hang on, wait. Let's see if it's going to make its attack. You sneaky. Look there, going. No, don't mind me. Just moving about. Carrying on with my day. You can see it's got an evil eye looking back at that couple. And that's what they do. They wrestle each other. Whew. It's making its approach. Look, it's coming slowly. Let's wait like 5 seconds more. Maybe it makes its attack, because I'd love to see a good old African bullfrog chase. Oh, it's getting closer. It's getting closer. Come on, froggy. You can do it. Don't keep us keep us waiting here. I don't think we've got much time to spare. 5 more seconds and I promise, and if nothing, then we're going to carry on. Okay, David. Froggy, I'm disappointed in you. Well, it's been a very good game drive with all of you here in South Africa this afternoon. I hope you've enjoyed it just as much as my mate David and I have. Oh, yes. It's been great. It's a bit hot out here, but all right. And we'll see you tomorrow morning, for the sunrise safari. So have a crikey old night. Maybe have a tinny or two. I'm not sure what most of you are getting up to, but we're going to go across to Brent and we'll see you tomorrow.
Cheers, mate.
Was Taylor speaking gibberish just now? I don't understand a word she said. There's a bush baby far away on the other side of that little riverbed. You see him, Craig? Okay, zoom more. And to the left slightly. Oh, he's gone now. Oh, there was a bush baby there. His eyes disappeared. Oh, no, he's still there. Actually, I don't think it's a bush baby. I think it could be a genet. I only saw 2 eyes. I'm going to try and go off the road a little bit yet. Now the reason I say I saw 2 eyes, and just the way it was moving, you got it now, Craig, center. It looked more like a, okay, wait, no, you're in the right spot. Just zoom in there. Okay. Okay, a little bit to the left. A little bit up. Oh, go down, sorry. There we go. Oh, there we go. It's a is it a bush baby or a genet? It's a genet. So I saw it's a large spotted genet. Now the reason I thought it wasn't a bush baby is normally when you see bush babies' eyes, unless you're very close, they always look like they're one eye. But then as soon as I saw 2 eyes, I expected it to be something different. So it's going to be very happy tonight. There's going to be so much food, insects. Oh look, it's probably drying out. It's been sleeping in its den for the day. Anyway, giving itself a good clean before heading out on the hunt. Well, that's very nice. A lovely little nocturnal predator. Not one we get to see too often. Oh. Okay, well, there he is, giving himself a clean. Now, I think we're just going to stick on the genet for the last few seconds as he hops around in the tree. And from all of us here at Safari Live, we're going to say good night. And we will see you for the sunrise safari. Hopefully, there'll be no more of this tinny talk from Australia. Or if there is, I'm sure we'll survive. But who knows what the dawn will bring. Hopefully lots and lots of wonderful things. I'm excited. See you all tomorrow morning bright and early.